So as someone who's not a fan of Monster Hunter, I wanted to kind of chime in and share my opinions of Monster Hunter Wilds open beta. I think that as far as a gamer is concerned, I've gotten a lot more open to trying new things. I've experimented and found a lot of games that I otherwise wouldn't have enjoyed back in the day that have steadily become some of my favorite games. But back in the day when I ended up playing Monster Hunter World, it just didn't click with me. I think my biggest mistake was trying to play the game solo while also just not having the patience to learn all of the various mechanics. Monster Hunter Wilds is the newest game in the Monster Hunter franchise and is the first open world Monster Hunter game. It being open world vibes a lot more with me, and so I'm much more interested in this title. But while I was excited for this game, I was still kind of on the fence of, is this going to be something that I'll enjoy? After playing the beta, oh boy, I'm scared how much time this game is going to take from my life. I think being a Souls-like fan and coming from a game like Elden Ring, I oddly feel like Monster Hunter's combat is kind of refreshing. There are so many action games out there that have some semblance of Souls-like combat or influence. Monster Hunter is not one of those games. This combat is all its own. See, in a Souls-like, most combat scenarios play out with an absolutely brutal enemy that can destroy you in 1 or 2 hits, but you yourself can also destroy them fairly quickly if you know what you're doing. How the games ramp up in difficulty is not only with a variety of different enemy types and enemy attack patterns, but the environment itself plays a huge part in the difficulty curve. Fighting an archer down a hallway might seem easy enough if you just run up to him and smack him, but having an archer up on a cliff while you're stuck dealing with some sort of guard or melee character up front is where the challenge comes in with a Souls-like. All this is to just go into the story of Monster Hunter Wilds feeling refreshing to me. Because the challenge with Monster Hunter's combat is less so the environment, more so character positioning is extremely important. I will say that the combat didn't immediately click with me. I did experiment with all 14 weapons, found my favorites, and that's when it really felt good. I will say that each of the weapons has their own different playstyle, and I appreciate that certain weapons exist because the playstyles are so wildly different from each other. But whether it's because I experimented with all of the 14 weapons, or because I finally played the game long enough to start to understand the nuance to the combat, I can say as someone who is not a fan of Monster Hunter that I think this game will change my mind. Personally, out of all the weapons, the lance is the one that clicks with me. I've been spending so much time just learning the ins and outs of this weapon, trying to find all of its strengths and weaknesses. And it makes me shocked to think that there's 13 other weapons that have just as much nuance to their combat. But it's not all sugar and spice, okay? I most of all wanted to set all of this up as someone who isn't a Monster Hunter fan to be able to give my objective opinion of my experiences with the beta. And if there's one topic that I want to absolutely obliterate, it's the UI in this game is garbage. I don't care, Monster Hunter fans, okay? Shut up. I see you typing in the comments down there. The UI in this game is inexcusably bad. There are sub-menus within sub-menus. I don't think that the full game will have a tutorial comprehensive enough to explain all of this crap. And even when you're in the middle of combat, the fact that you have to hold one button to switch between items in your hotbar, I don't know how this game is going to exist in 2025 and be this clunky. Again, Monster Hunter fans, calm down, okay? The gameplay is unquestionably god tier, but so help me, the amount of steps that you have to get through in order to experience that aspect of the game is just mind-boggling. Once you learn it, okay, cool, I get it, it's fine. But my point is that being someone who's coming from the outside, I found it really, really surprising just how unintuitive Monster Hunter was. At the same time, that's what I found so fun about the gameplay, is because it just kind of lets you figure things out. I'm big into experimentation equals results. And while again, I will reiterate, the UI is actually garbage in this game. That feels like it's from the PS2 era. The gameplay is just so fun that I kind of just got to deal with it. That said, this video isn't trying to sell any new players to Monster Hunter. I've been trying to cultivate this idea in my head of having a more open mind. And that's where I think that as a new fan of the series, or more particular, a fan of Monster Hunter Wilds, I can honestly say that the game ain't perfect, but it's damn near close to perfection when it comes to a boss hunting simulator. I don't think that everyone is going to find a 20 or 30-minute boss fight appealing, but I think a lot of that has to do with playing the game long enough to understand which weapon clicks with you. My last positive note about Monster Hunter is how surprisingly video gamey it all is. It almost seems like it's trying to ground itself in reality, but then you actually start playing the game and you're flipping all over the goddamn place. And I just can't help but enjoy the conflicting nature of it all. It tries to be like all slow and realistic, but at the end of the day, it knows it's a video game and it prioritizes being fun. This is a game I will 100% end up playing on the channel when it comes out next year, and I'm looking forward to playing it with you guys.